Okay, so I'm exposing all this fraud and everything, and what I saw, how it works, okay? Check out Third Federal Savings and Loan, TFSL, ticker symbol. This is really the paragon of, which they still have problems, but this is the paragon of how you really need to be honest in business, okay? Mark Stefanski, by the way, they do sell their loans. They tell you that they don't, so they just retain servicing on everything. They just tell you that they see. But here's the thing, that's their deception. But they're honest. Their loan officers, okay, check us out, are just salary, that's it. And they don't even make any money and no bonuses on whether or not, and basically the loan officers, technically, if you think about it, of course Mark Stefanski, he's the one that selling this thing, he starts it, and then of course you have the underwriters who are the ones, they're the ones that pull on the information, just like you have a loan officer at a bank or a loan officer at a mortgage brokerage. That's the final say. Now all these I call them clerks, they're loan officers, they call them those loan officers at the branch level of Third Federal or even in their call center, okay? They have one in downtown Cleveland. So, they'll just simply collect the documents, they'll act like the processor, and I'll give it to the processor, and then I'll find an underwriter. They look into this stuff, man. There's a reason why these guys have a 3% turnover of employment. Every year employees leaving, 3 out of every 100, not even that. It's one of the best companies to work for. I don't like to, use Fortune magazine, but I mean, it's true. From what I've learned in the industry, personal knowledge, they have very few, bank robberies. It's great. There's a reason for that, though. They know their customer. They don't do business with whores. Rarely. And they've gotten, a little desperate the past few years, though. Of course, they went public, and that's a very obvious sign of desperation. But when you go to Third Federal and you want to withdraw money, whether they know you or not, when I worked at U.S. Bank, for example, at the window, we would have a report with our customers whereby if we know you, we're not going to get on you and ask you for your ID, okay? If you want to pull out $10, let me pull my drawer, I know who you are, put in your account number. Sometimes you might memorize, because they're there every 2 days, and the customer's nothing better to do sometimes, right? Third Federal, if you come in there to withdraw $10, they ask for your ID. Boom, 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 boom. Every single time. That's how they should do it. And they'll even probably go into dual control sometimes. Have 2 people review that. Another big thing too, I noticed about Third Federal Savings and Loan, you go into the branches, okay? It's open, okay? It's open. Just like the big time crooks, and I'm not saying that Third Federal's crooks, the big time crooks, and I'll go ahead and name these guys. Key Bank, which is a competitor down in Cleveland. Ohio Savings, they do a lot of fraud. Fifth Third, Charter One, Chase, of course, egregious. It's closed. You can see how the whole thing works. It's closed. I mean, you got cubicles. You got, I worked at a stock brokerage at one time, and it's just like you got these offices, and it's like you can hide. The door might only have a window up to a certain point, and then underneath it you can do some stuff under there, and they have done that. And then maybe the window's only so high. They have desks at Third Federal at their branches. It's open, okay, and I've even been to other branches where they have big operations, okay, and it's all open. And there's of course I'm sure they do have closed parts. That's where you're gonna have the fraud because you can't see it. But that's a very wise indication. And one of the big things too in these whole robberies and bank robberies, we had a representative from different government agencies talk to us when I worked at U.S. Bank. It was really cool, But the thing is, keep your windows shades open, so that it's known that you can be seen that you're coming into the place. Okay, that's great. You need to be open. What's wrong with discovery? If you're not going to take anything, then show who you are. You need to know your customer. A lot of times you're going to get cased, I saw this a lot when I worked at the bank, and they would come in and they, oh, what's your CD rate? That's not a good day to steal any money because that person got scared. I'm just going to know what your CD rate is, and you're not going to see that at Third Federal, but just audit their files, people. Talking to you regulators. That's how it's supposed to be done. They want to know. They ask questions. And the clerk that's the thing. It's like the clerk. I call him a clerk. It's a loan officer. They're just hey, these guys appeared. The underwriters and these guys that want to prove this on. They're just asking for these documents. I've seen so many credit reports. Third Federal on it. I get to see the credit report. Oh, great, it's clean. I see Third Federal on there. I know it's some honesty happening here. Okay. I've seen a ton of these things. I saw one man in Avon. His house was worth, I don't know, 1.2, 1.3, something like that. And, he had a first with Third Federal for 300. And he told me, I was working at Centex, home equity. He told me, I'm hurting, man. I got to get, Third Federal can't help me anymore. Third Federal had a second and a third lien on there. He had, the first was like 300, okay? The second was an extra additional 150. They're just trying to keep this guy out of foreclosure, I could tell. And they cared. Mark Stefanski cared. I could tell. I could see it. They were trying to help this guy. And then he threw down another 50, just trying to help him. He had his own business. I'm not going to get into all of it, but I just saw that they're trying to help him out. And they know. They know. They have the first position. They see his credit report. There's nothing else going on there. What's wrong with throwing on a second and a third and trying to help this guy out? They're not in there to just take you for your own money. Now, not the public. That's a whole different story. I don't like that.